There were a lot of fuck off moments in this film. What is up, guys? I'm NarendraTheComic, and right now we're going to be reviewing Avengers Infinity War. Jeez, this thing was a roller coaster of emotions. There was so much happening. Something I've been looking forward to for such a long time. Literally, I guess about 8 years or so since THOR. I think I had a thought they might actually bring in THANOS into this stuff. But obviously that first Iron Man film really did start something in the world, and it's become the highest grossing movie franchise of all time, the MCU. And this 10-year mark sort of is like a bookend. It's like, it feels like it's cemented. Yeah, it's been 10 years. It's crazy that it's been that long, but most of the films, thankfully, in the franchise have been pretty damn good. There have been a couple. Iron Man 2, Thor 2, Iron Man 3 wasn't the best. But beside that, most of the other films have been pretty damn good to great. And this is a testament to that, because I thought this film was very, I'll give it 3 very good. Now, for something that was 2.5 hours long, the film was incredibly well paced. It was bouncing from world to world, and it was giving each story point enough time to feel itself out and give enough gravitas to each character that was important to the storyline. Now, as you know, there were so many characters in this film, and most of them were not crucial to the plot in any way, shape, or form. The film didn't feel rushed at all, and I think that was because they really pinpointed Thanos as the main character. He was 100% the main character of this film. He had enough screen time to be that, and he was very well fleshed out. He had a compelling, in some ways, backstory. And as well as him, Thor had a very big part in the film. The main characters were probably Thanos, Thor, Gamora, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Doctor Strange. I'd say they were probably the main characters of the film. You could maybe say the Hulk as well. He was pretty integral in some ways. You didn't really get much of the Hulk though. You got a lot of Banner, which is good to see him actually have real dialogue in a film, because he hasn't had that since, I guess, well, the first Avengers film. I guess he hasn't really had a ton of dialogue through the entire MCU. It's crazy. But with Thanos as the villain, you already saw his mindset in a way, which was weird, as well as his thinking throughout the film. And while you didn't really root for him, you see what he was saying sort of makes sense. Now, I'm not advocating for mass genocide. That's not really the answer. No. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite MCU films. One, because the villain was actually good. It was a very strong villain. I still think Loki is the best villain, but he's probably second on that list of all the villains in the MCU. I thought the film was better than the first Avengers, which was an incredible film. Better than Age of Ultron, which was, okay, could have been better, but it was still a decent film, a nice watch. But one thing I think they may have a problem with this film is people who've seen the previous films in the franchise. I think that for me, and for people like me, people who love the comics, love the old comics, not the new garbage, but also love the cinematic universe as a whole, they will buy into this film. They will buy into the whole storyline, the through lines and everything, and they will just say this is a 10 out of 10. I've seen it once. I just saw it. I saw it a really late night on Thursday, so I think I'm gonna see it on Sunday again. But for someone who maybe I'm hyping it up as well, but for someone who doesn't watch these films a lot, who doesn't know the through lines of story and isn't paying attention to this stuff really, coming in as a first-time viewer to this, you wouldn't really be able to watch it properly. I think if someone who doesn't watch this film, they wouldn't understand the real emotional resonance of some scenes, and they wouldn't get the character development that you've got from 10 years or 5 years with certain characters. And that's testament to Kevin Feige and all those people there, because they did such a good job at connecting all these worlds, but at the same time, its biggest weakness as well as its biggest strength, all the connectivity. Because the connectivity, gives it the ability to have people from random worlds intertwine with each other, but at the same time, it means you have to pay attention to everything. And if you're not willing to do that, or just are unaware, you will be left wanting something in this film, I feel. And I feel you could watch the first Avengers and Age of Ultron without having seen any of the previous Marvel films and still get something out of the film and enjoy it. I think even with Ultron you could do that, but with this I think there's too much exposition that's needed from previous films that I think they gave up on that with this film and just said, we're gonna make this for the people who want to watch it. There were also some bloody incredible cameos that I was thinking this has to happen, and then it happened and I was like, Thank goodness, it's tied a bow, it's done and dusted. Thank you. The CGI in this was 99% good. Some of the Hulk scenes where he was in some costumes and stuff wasn't really the best, but it was more Banner scenes in costumes. It wasn't the best. But apart from that, the film had no bad CGI apart from that one thing for me. I'm a nitpicker. What do you want from me? Also, be prepared for a lot of death. Like, a lot. A shit ton of death. Think how much death you think there's gonna be, and then just maybe multiply it by 6. Maybe. I thought maybe 2 or 3 people were gonna die in this film. A couple more than that do. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil who dies, because that will be too far, but I'll just say more than I thought died. Yeah, sad. Sad. And because of stuff like that, I almost cried a couple times, but I held it in. Still, only Guardians 1 and 2 have made me cry in the MCU. I'm not crying normally, you know, it really needs to hit me for me to really break down, but those 2 films did it for me. And I feel like Star-Lord as a character was sort of shortchanged in this film. I don't think it's the Star-Lord which James Gunn made in Guardians 1 and 2. I think he's the only character, might I add, that is not the same as what he was in the previous films. I think he was altered slightly and changed slightly to fit the other alpha males in the film. Because him, Thor, him, Captain America, whoever it is, him, Iron Man, they're all very macho alpha men, and they needed to buffer some people just to be able to get a coherent scene out of others. And I think he sort of had to be detrimented slightly to fit other people in. There was one post-credit scene, so don't go skipping out. I think most people will be aware of that by now. But don't go skipping out. I would say don't go skipping out, but maybe do. It really wasn't a very good post-credit scene. It's probably the worst one, actually. Like, individual, for a film, normally the films have 2 or 3. By film, this is the worst post-credit scene of a film in the MCU. It's not the worst individual one, because I think Howard the Duck has that one, but in Guardians there were still a couple of other post-credit scenes. But this post-credit scene was just rubbish. I was just like, oh god. And they have a lot to explain as well in terms of what's happening in that post-credit scene, because if that person is actually coming and is alive, then where was that person in Avengers 1? Or what was that person doing in this and that? It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. Just to say here, all the people involved here have done such a fantastic job. It's phenomenal what they've been able to do here. I'd just like to say congratulations to them, and congratulations to all the fans as well who've stuck with this and really given it the life it has lived, and the cultural impact it has had. All of us seeing our memories and our visions come to life on screen, and it's been a real pleasure and something which I'll never forget in my life. It's crazy to think that 15 years ago this would have been like completely unfathomable to our imaginations. You know, it sounds like pat yourself on the back, being able to like see our imaginations come true, like all our visions that we had dreams of and memories of, or cartoons and stuff like that. All that bits of it has been put on screen for us and will live forever, which is crazy. So thank you for the past 10-year journey, everyone involved, to all the Comic-Cons, all the CinemaCons, all that jazz. It's really been a journey, and 10 years. Yeah, iconic. Hopefully another 10 years of good films. We can only dream, but the batting ratio is so good that one day it might just fall off. I really hope it doesn't though. So what would I give this film out of 10? Now I'm thinking really hard, but I said I'd give it, I'm hyped right now, and I'm hyped beast, and I'm like thinking it's the best film ever. I'm gonna taper myself down and say it's a 9.5. Possibility to be a 10 when I see it next time, but it might go down. I know Avengers 2 went down for me when I saw it the second time. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Thanos himself is gonna come after you. If you see this, you have about a 50% chance of living or dying. I don't know what he's gonna do. He might decide to spare your life if you subscribe. If you waste his time but you subscribe, he might spare you. But if you just waste his time and you don't subscribe, man's gonna kill you, and you don't want that. You really don't, so just subscribe. Anyway, to avoid that, I've been NarendraTheComic. You have been great, and I'll see you next time. Skadoosh.